So when does it stop? Can I ask that? Am I less of a fan if I ask that? When does it stop? When do we stop saying, oh, yes, give us adventure? When does Bandai decide, you know what? Maybe people are going to experience adventure burnout after Try was a colossal omni shambles. Kizuna hasn't been out yet. And you remember how Kizuna was advertised? The last adventure of Taichi and Agumon. And then they go, psych! Here we go. Here's another adventure anime, you fanboy, money grubbing, give us your wallets. And I blame you. I blame myself, I blame the fandom in general, I blame people who refuse to watch anything that didn't come after Tamers, especially people who refuse to watch anything after Adventure Zero 2. I blame people who wouldn't even look at Applemon because it wasn't Taichi and Co. This is your fault, this is on you. And this is on me. I bought the Try Digivice. I bought the Try Blu-rays. I supported the franchise because it harkened back to what I grew up on. Because they don't fucking release merchandise for the other stuff. A new show gets a Digivice, a couple of shite figurines, and they call it a day because things aren't flying off the shelves. Because nobody's able to resonate with the newer stuff anymore. You took a concept that had the potential to be one of the best series going in Cross Wars, and that was an omni shambles with no direction for the first arc. The second arc tried to save it, fell apart toward the end, and then the third arc you gave us Tagiru. So no wonder people go, oh no, I'll stick with Taichi and Co. People won't even look at something like Appmon, who, yes, I have complained about, has far too much filler in it, especially toward the end. But you know what? It's the only series where the main character, as the main villain, wins. There, spoiler alert. Wins, but not really, because the power of love. But basically, up until the last 20 seconds, had basically won. There was nothing the protagonists could do about things. It was the best. It was the best show, and I still stand by that. Regardless of all the filler, Applemon was the best one out of the show. Try started off so well. Reunion up to Confession, fantastic. Everything else fell off a cliff. Mako was ruined. Sora was ruined. Genai, Genai was certainly ruined. And Kizuna hasn't even come out yet. It's due out next month, and I'm hopefully going to be able to track down a copy of it, watch it for February when we do Digimon month, give my thoughts on it. Now, this could be a swerve. Right, this new show puts the kids in 5th grade. It's a modern reboot set in the year 2020. Oh yeah, reboot. So we're going to take Digimon Adventure and we're going to do it again. It's in the title. Mistakenly, potentially called Digimon Sai, but we've learned that Sai is pronounced again or re, and even the adventure is Digimon Adventure : So, they're so they're going the Yokai Watch route or the Vanguard route in just rebooting it, putting it in modern age instead of 1998. What the hell does that do to Odaiba Day, by the way? And saying, yeah, let's crap this out because we're still going to buy it because we're all marks. See? That's the merciful mode version of the Digivice, by the way. I've unboxed it on the channel, right? I love adventure. I do. Grew up on it. 02 falls apart after Ken stops being evil. I'm using this word a lot because it's all I can do to stop from swearing, but it's an omni shambles. 02 has no directions, it has too many plots that go nowhere, it tries to do too much, and it falls flat on its face. And then you have the epilogue. I don't care if the epilogue was already greenlit before 02 ever went ahead. The epilogue is clunky, and it has ruined Try retroactively, and it is ruining Kizuna before it even premieres because there are no stakes because we know how it all pans out. There are no stakes. Kizuna is probably going to be a fun hour and a half, whatever it turns out to be. But there's no stakes, there's no build up. The best thing Try did was give us some backstory on the original Digidestined before Taichi and Co., the ones that Genai mentioned in the lead up to the fight against the Pokemon. And what happened? They all died. They all died. Well, the two that we seen anyway. Daigo and Maki. They're dead. They died in the digital world. Maki got washed away by the Dark Ocean, and Daigo died in an underground laboratory where the Zero Two kids were being kept for reasons. I mean, what do we expect at this point? All I wanted, I'd love more Tamers, right? Tamers wasn't my favorites, and you can revoke my fandom card for that alone if you want. Tamers was never my favorite. I love the ending, particularly in the dub, because the dub just craps all over Henry's dad, and that's kind of comical in its own way. And yeah. Frontier, Digimon Power Rangers, sure. Data Squad, fantastic, my favorite, absolutely, of the Digimon aspect of it. Applemon is in a universe of its own, you might say. um, but everything since, they don't know what to do with. They've no planning. They've no forward direction. They're putting the cart before the horse. They're putting the toys and the merchandise before anything. I didn't want more adventure anime. I'm throwing my toys out of the pram because I didn't want more adventure anime. Adventure's done. Kizuno was meant to be the last adventure. Remember that? I'm just... Of all the things they could have done. Of all the things they could have done. And they fall back on the original 8. You notice that as well? The kids are in 5th grade. So you don't have to worry about those pesky 02 kids who they try to ride out of Try. They try to say, oh yeah, no, the 02 epilogue is still canon. We'll see how much attention Kizuna pays to that in a few weeks. Oh yeah, no, it's all fine, it's all fine. Now look, I said a moment ago. Maybe it's a swerve. Maybe Kizuna sets this up. Maybe there's a big old fight with Aosmon, who is the villain for Kizuna, I or C. So maybe at the end some shenanigans are pulled and they do a Myotismon Dreamworld thing, and the reboot isn't actually a reboot, but just a continuation of Kizuna, kind of, sort of, maybe. Probably not. I don't have that much faith in them to do that. I don't have enough faith in them to actually pull that off. So, thanks to With the Will. I love you guys. I need to start posting there again instead of lurking. I need to start posting again. But it looks like it's a modern take set in the year 2020 because there's conversation about digital networks and how everything has grown. And basically starts off, Tai is on his own, waiting to go to summer camp, gets impatient, goes off on his own because he can't wait for Hikari to get back from Shibuya. Something about helping an old lady onto a trolley car, and then he ends up in the digital world. So I don't know. Are they taking the frontier route where everybody got on a train? Look, it's all loosely translated at the moment, and I'm paraphrasing in my level. People thought I was salty over Byleth Smash. I was disappointed because of Byleth Smash. This is me being salty. This is me just saying, F everything. Because there's just no point anymore. There's no point in expecting originality from this company. There is no point in expecting anything but mediocrity. And that's what this is. This is them giving up and admitting defeat. They can't sell this product unless it has Tai & Co. That's what this has become. There are people clamoring, begging, tweeting, everything, day in, day out. Give us more Tamers. Japan got a bunch of audio dramas that continue on from after the story. Give us those. Do something so that we can continue the Tamers universe. I want another season of Savers because I want to see what happens in the 10-year gap. I want to see the characters reunite. I want to see how Bancho Masaru works out. All of that. I want to see Yoshino's police career. I want to see Koki not be just a basic thug. I want to see the relationship between Chika and Ikto grow as that season's version of TK and Kari. They could have done so much with this. Like this new show, whatever they have in mind for it, they could have done. They could have put new characters in it. They could have done a side story, do a hacker's memory to cyber sleuth aspect of things, where you've got another set of kids wrapped up in something bigger than they could ever imagine. And every so often, you just sprinkle in a bit of the original to remind people that it is actually the same continuity. Something like that would have been great because you're not relying on Taichi and Agumon to sell anymore. But that's what it is, and I've complained about that before. Look at everything that comes out, the Goggle Boy gets an Agumon, because they are terrified to do anything else. The Royal Knights are the same. I got a message from Yami, who is a regular on the channel here, particularly around the Digimon videos and the content, and I hope she's watching because, hi. Apparently the Royal Knights show up in Rearise, and you know me when it comes to the Royal Knights and overexposure. You know me and Omegamon when it comes to overexposure. I am going to rip that in two. Unless it's written well. But again, I've no faith in them to write it well. I've no faith in them to write it well whatsoever. Because what is the point in expecting anything else at this point? What is the point in expecting anything else from them? If they were going to do this, it should have happened years ago. They should have looked at Adventure 02 and went, okay, maybe patching the problems with that show 20 years later does not fix the problems that show has caused for the original continuity. I mean, Yggdrasil, bless me, if you wanted to use Taichi again, you're selling an Ulforce Vidramon statue, which I really, really want, but you're advertising it as the one from Savers, the guy who got maybe 5 minutes of screen time total in that show when the Royal Knights showed up, compared to the most famous Ulforce Vidramon being the one another version of Taichi used or was partnered to in V-Tamer. Excuse you? Excuse you. Hell, even advertising it as Vivi, Rena's one from the recent games, that would have been a much better marketing tactic because at least she's relevant. Unlike Savers Ulforce Vidramon, who, let's be fair, until I said that, did you remember he was in that show? Because I sure as hell didn't until they advertised it and went, oh right, yeah, he was one of the knights in that show, wasn't he? It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. Salty, annoyed, doesn't begin to describe where I am. There are over 1 billion words in the English language, and nothing can come close to describing how much I want to take the whoever greenlit this idea and smack them in the face with a chair. But I'm still going to watch it, aren't I? You're damn right I am. I'm still going to watch it, but I refuse to buy the merchandise. A modern reboot of Digimon Adventure Season 1 set in the year 2020. With modern technology and conveniences. On the original timeline, they are restricted because the original show happened in 1998, so you are limited in what you can do technology-wise to an extent. By having the next show 2 years after or 5 years after. You're still in the early 2000s. This brings it up, modernizes it, will make it feel fresh and relevant. Oh, like Appmon. Because we all use cell phones, I'm recording this on a cell phone, and the idea that Digimon computer programs, would hereditarily or transformatively become or the applications that we use on our day-to-day palm devices and laptops and everything else would take on their own monster characteristics isn't so far-fetched, although everyone seems to think it's the worst idea in the world. No, the digital world as we knew it was already created from the internet that the humans built. And so, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm just getting worked up and I'm getting annoyed. The digital world exists as a parallel world to the human world. Digital world exists as a parallel to the human world because of the digital infrastructure built by human beings and all the data we process on a day in, day out basis. It is only natural that as our technology moves to the palm of our hand and all these applications that we take for granted, that history would not repeat itself in that fashion, and so you end up with Applemon rather than Digimon. All right, it's the same thing. Even the levels are it follows the same leveling structure, just the naming theme is different. But no. So I like it. I like the idea of a modern take. I just don't think it should have been with these characters. Kizuna this is where Kizuna they should have had the guts to say, okay, that's it. We are not relying on Taichi to sell our merchandise anymore. We are better than this. We can craft deep, interesting stories with new characters and attract a new generation. Instead, they're using nostalgia from 20 plus years ago to attract a new audience today. In theory, it could work. And they've also said there will be surprises in the evolution lines. And so I'm left thinking, oh, what? So we'll get Victory Greymon and Z Garurumon instead of War Greymon and Metal Garurumon, and that'll be it. The other 6 still won't reach Mega. You could see that happening, right? Now that's if it's a 1-1 remake, which I don't think this is going to be. I hope not, because if we're 13 episodes into this and Angemon is punching Devimon in the face and dying for his trouble, that is probably where I give up on the show. But yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to talk about it on this channel because I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say. And I'm sure as new information comes out and is more accurately translated, with the will themselves do admit that the translation may not be perfect, but for the information they've provided so far, I am thankful for that because it has helped me grasp the situation a bit more. Digimon Adventure Sai. The Sai is short for Psych. You thought Kizuno was going to be the last thing they did with these characters. And that's egg on my face. That is egg on my face. I tried to support other aspects of the franchise. I hoped other fans would do the same. But eventually money talked. People didn't care about new elements. They only wanted Tai and his stupid hair. And that's sad. Because when you dig into the lore of each season, even Hunters, yes, even Hunters, there are some really good characters that deserve, better than they got. Just not Tagiru. I always make it about Tagiru. Regardless of what I talk about, I always find a way to get a jab at Tagiru in there. So yeah. I don't know. I just had to get that off my chest. Maybe I'll calm down on the idea once new information comes out. But at the moment, I'm not hopeful. I'm not even cautiously optimistic. This is milking the zombie cow at this point. But I guess they're taking the idea of letting the past go and killing it if you have to. Wait, no, they're not. They're just going to continue making adventure anime for the rest of time. At which point I wish they would just let the past go and kill it if they have to.